In this video we'll be looking at Happy Baby pose in Yin Yoga. Happy Baby pose is a supine pose lying on our back, and it's really lovely for opening the hips, stretching out across the buttocks, and for releasing the lower back. So coming down to our backs, let's take a little look at the pose. You may need a blanket and a belt for this pose. So as we come down, you just take a moment to feel the floor beneath you and allow that little curve, the natural curve of your lumbar spine of your lower back to be there. And you can even pop a hand under there to see what's going on. Relax into the hip flexor area. Then from here we take our knees in towards us, and you'll feel your lower back flatten a little bit more down towards the ground, which can offer, this is where the stretch begins to happen there in the lower back. Now, for Happy Baby, you want to draw your knees as much in towards your torso, out to the side, and then down either side of you that is comfortable. Now, for some of you, holding on to your calves or your ankles may be enough. For others, the outer feet or the inner feet may be available. However, if you're having to round up through the spine to hold on to your feet, then please use, as I'm going to show you now, a belt. Likewise, if your tailbone's lifting up off the ground, you've taken it too far. Let's keep the whole spine grounded in this pose. So really connect with the earth energy and offer the weight of your spine down to the earth. And let's keep the focus on stretching into the legs and across the buttocks, and not through creating sort of extra tension in the spine or the shoulders, the end of the spine or the shoulders. So, I mean, whether you can reach your feet or not, it can just feel nicer having the support of a belt for these longer hold times. So again, you don't want to be lifting the shoulders up. Make sure the backs of the shoulders are grounded along with the spine, and then you would pull on the belt very lightly to encourage that opening there. So as I say, stretching backs of the legs, inner thighs, across the buttocks, and grounding the spine. Now, for some people, as another option, it might feel more comfortable bringing the soles of your feet together into, I think it's called Happy Buddha pose, and I'm going to stick with that because I like the name of it. So if your hips are quite externally rotated, this can feel quite nice because you can work around points of compression in the front of the hip joint. So for some people, taking Happy Baby pose, especially if you're very open in the hips, it can kind of create this compression, pinching of soft tissues in between the bones on the front of the hips. So there's two ways you can do it. You can get around this. You can either pop a blanket into the hip joint, and that gives you a little bit of padding. That should make that more sustainable for you. Or you can externally rotate the hips around the point of compression, and by taking the feet together. And this for me gives me a beautiful stretch across the lower back, but it does change slightly the sensations in the hamstrings. I'm not really getting so much of a hamstring stretch there, but that might be different in your case. That's just my experience. So whichever of these versions, with or without a prop, but just keeping that back body grounded, grounding into the earth energy as we open up the liver and kidney meridian in the inner legs. We're working with the gallbladder here on the backs of the legs. Sorry, not the gallbladder, the urinary bladder. And then when you're finished, drawing the knees back in together, and you can take a moment here in a little counter pose, just a little bit of weight of your arms over your shins, making sure the back of the neck remains nice and long, the slight tuck of your chin if you need to. For some people, with that in mind, actually, if you have more of a pronounced thoracic curve, so your upper back, it comes out a little bit more, then you may need a blanket or a cushion underneath the back of your head in these supine poses. So if your chin is really up towards the ceiling, and when you tuck your chin to lengthen the back of your neck, your back of your head leaves the mat, then make sure you've got some kind of propping underneath so that we can keep that neck in line with the rest of the spine. So after you've taken your little counter pose there, bring your feet to the floor. You may want to pause in constructive rest pose for a moment, or just allow yourself to rebound in your Shavasana pose. Okay. So that is happy baby pose in Yin Yoga. I hope you found that useful. Thank you very much, and namaste. Bye-bye.